us live on Ustream, live through Facebook, or through our website, www.360sportsnetwork.com. We encourage you to join in the show here as we are live at the Crane Room in Newcastle, Pennsylvania by sending the tweets to either myself, James, at 3SN Dot, or to my partner at 3SN DLav. As soon as he arrives, he is on official business covering some around-the-town baseball games now that the playoffs have begun. He should be arriving here momentarily. So, with that being said, we are here again at the Crane Room live here in beautiful Newcastle, Pennsylvania, and we're going to start tonight talking with a little bit about the IndyCar Series and the upcoming Indianapolis 500-mile race. And there they are, right as I say that, they're on their way in. It's Alex, and Angelo is back for another round, it sounds like, on the 360 Sports Network. Well, while they get all set up, I'll talk a little bit about the IndyCar Series, the Indianapolis 500. So far, they have gone through now 5 rounds of practice. Yes, they go through a lot of practice leading up to the big race, and that's all just to make sure that the cars are as good as possible, because this is the greatest spectacle in racing. So far, Andretti Autosport, Sarah Fisher Racing, Panther Racing have been very fast throughout practice. Marco Andretti of Andretti Autosport, I should say, is the fastest so far at over 223 miles an hour. Question is, where are the big names? Where's Team Penske? Where's Target Chip Ganassi? Even KV Racing, they are way down on the speed charts. So we're going to have a very interesting month of May, an interesting qualifying session this weekend on Saturday, followed by, of course, a great great race, that is, on Memorial Day weekend on Sunday the 27th. There's some issues going on here that currently with these new cars, they are not going quite as quickly as we'd like on the ovals. But because of that, they're actually going to give a little extra boost just for qualifications, it sounds like. They're going to move it up an extra 10 kilopascals. Don't ask me what that means. It's been too long since I've taken physics. But supposedly it's going to give an extra 40 to 50 horsepower to the cars. So an extra 3 or 4 miles an hour, maybe. Angelo, why would they do that?
For the fans, man.
For the fans, but if it's going to be faster for qualifying, I don't know. I would rather it. Why not make it just fast for the race as well at that point, I guess, is my only question. Makes it a little bit interesting, but I guess we'll just have to see how it all plays out. Thanks again for joining us, Angelo. We'll officially introduce you in a moment. I know that you're getting all set up over there. The other big question is with Dragon Racing. They are in the middle of a interesting engine change. They went with the Lotus package, and they have been very slow so far this year. They are actually suing Lotus for defaming, essentially, the name of Dragon Racing. So now we might actually not be able to make 33 cars into the field, and that's just going to be very interesting how that all plays out. Hopefully we will get 33. Hopefully they can make their switch over, Dragon Racing that is, to the Chevy engines, but with everything that's happening, it's been tough for Chevy and Honda to get enough engines. So we'll see what's going to happen. I need to make a quick prediction though, I guess. I'm going to say rookie Joseph Newgarden goes on the pole. Dario Franchitti, that's Angelo's man over there, I know. He's finally getting a little bit faster today, so we'll see if Dario can make it to the top again. Marco Andretti, you can't count him out. You also can't count out the other guy from Target Chip Ganassi Racing. Graham Rahal's been strong lately. 3-time winner in the field, Helio Castroneves, of course, another big name to look forward to. Who knows what's going to happen, but my bet is on James Hinchcliffe replacing Danica Patrick. What a story that would be for Hinchcliffe and the GoDaddy machine to go and take over and essentially fill some pretty big shoes, or small shoes, I guess, depending on how you would like to look at it, in the IndyCar Series. So we'll see what happens. All we know is that there will be some fun festivities, and Dan Weldon is going to be iconicized memorial for him throughout the entire day. Supposedly Brian Herta will be driving his old car around during the pace laps. So should be a fun time. Again, this is 360 Sports Network live at the Crane Room. If you're in the Newcastle area, come on down, stop on by. what is it? Grab a carpet and fly through another Arabian Nights. Is that what I'm starting to sing here? I'm gonna shut up before I really make a fool of myself. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we're gonna start off again with some, I don't know, talk a little probably NFL, little major leagues. There's a lot of interesting stuff, and of course, we can't go without talking about LeBron James. So we will be back here in a few minutes. This is 3SN Live.
Need a place to go to watch the game? Looking for a great game day atmosphere that hosts great food, great service, and the most variety of craft beer in town? Then come on down to the Crane Room Bar and Grill in Newcastle, where the beer is always cold and the best wings are right here. The specials every night, there's always a good deal waiting for you at the Crane Room. Come out on Mondays for $2 23-ounce domestic drafts from 7 to 9. Tuesdays, burger nights. It's by $5 burgers from 7 to 9 p.m. Of course, if pasta's your gig, Wednesday's your night. Pasta night goes bonanza. Thursday, it's pound for pound wings all night at $2 domestic drafts from 7 to 9. And mixed drinks are half off every Friday from 5 to 7 p.m. And Saturdays, from 7 to 9, it's $1 off draft beers. And for every Pirates game this year, enjoy a 23-ounce Icy Light for just $2. Whether it's to watch the game, at the bar, enjoy a night out at the outdoor patio, or sit down with your honey for dinner at the restaurant, the Crane Room has everything that you need. So come on down to the Crane Room Bar and Grill. Get your fix on wings, sports, and beer. Just off Route 18 in beautiful, sunny Newcastle, Pennsylvania.
Alright, and we are back here at the Crane Room live in Newcastle, Pennsylvania. Finally joining us here in the studio, Angelo Fornatero joining back. How you doing, Angelo?
Good. How's it going, James?
It's going just fine, just fine. And of course, the big man, Alex Galaverson. What's going on, big guy?
Not much, brother. Just living the dream.
Living the dream? That's what I like to hear. Mm-hmm. Well, speaking of living the dream, a lot of guys who have just gotten drafted think they might be living the dream. A lot of guys who have been in the NFL have been living the dream for a while. Question is, who gets to live the bigger dream? We're talking about quarterback controversies. Let's start with what is starting out as now the biggest one out there. Seattle has a three-way controversy going on. They're having Tar Jackson, they just signed Matt Flynn, and they just drafted in the third round Russell Wilson. So the question is, which guy starts? What do you think, Ansel?
Well, you don't go out and guarantee a guy $10 million and Matt Flynn and not give him a starting job. I mean, they obviously thought very highly of him to bring him in, and you're not going to bring him in to be a backup after what he did in Green Bay, filling in for Aaron Rodgers. So, in my opinion, I see Matt Flynn getting the nod at start, and then they go from there.
Well, and the only problem is, though, he started one game against the Detroit Lions and a meaningless game for the team, and me being a Lions fan, I can tell you the Lions secondary is nothing to hoot and holler about. He did do well in that game,
Set
but
the record, didn't he?
he did.
Touchdowns in a game.
He set Packers records left and right, but still, it was the Detroit Lions. I don't know. What's your thought, Alex?
I think this has to be the worst three-way quarterback competition. This is a nightmare scenario. I mean, okay, look, Tavares Jackson stinks. He stinks, okay? Flynn played one game against the Lions. And Russell Wilson, he's a rookie. So, I mean, oh my gosh. I mean, at this point, I wouldn't even be opposed to going out and getting another quarterback off the street.
Like a
compared to
McNabb,
these
you see
guys.
them going maybe getting McNabb.
I honestly would not be opposed to it. I mean, I think anyone reasonable person can believe he'd perform better than Tavares Jackson.
I don't know. I mean, did you see the pictures of him when he was sitting there at the beach trying to do his beach workout? He looked like he weighed 500 pounds there as he was trudging through the water. It looked like he was scaring fish away just by his presence. He was that ugly and fat looking.
Any of these three quarterbacks I would not be happy about. I guess my gut, I think if you would just start over and go with maybe Flynn, because he does have some potential, but it was only one game. I feel like you kind of see what he's about, maybe the first few games. I just can't. I don't want to say definitely this guy, definitely that guy. I think Russell Wilson should be taken off, no matter what.
I think Flynn would have excelled a lot more going to Miami.
Yes.
Taking it
I
that his
agree.
offensive coordinator was just hired as the head coach down there, and he knew the system, and he would have had to adjust any kind of workout regime or playbooks. But now in Seattle, he's got to learn a new playbook, and he's got to lead an entire new team. And I mean, that's a lot to put on a guy that you pay this money to, and Pete Carroll's like, what, lead us to the playoffs. That's what he's saying.
Yeah, I think you're right though. With the $10 million, it's almost like how do you not start him? Russell Wilson, you're going to have the same issues that Drew Brees had. He's so short, he's not going to be able to do much in that regard. At least he's able to move around the pocket. It wouldn't surprise me if all three start at some point. So I don't know. Whatever happens, happens. I guess. Let's move to the Big Apple, New York City. Is it Mark Sanchez, or are we all buying in on the Tebow hype? Let's start with Alex. What do you think?
I think Mark Sanchez, I mean, he's been under center now for a few years, and I understand the whole Tebow thing, but let's be reasonable here. Sanchez has a better grasp of the offense. I'm not saying Sanchez is, going to lead this team to the playoffs again or anything like that, but I just think compared to Tim Tebow, you got to go with Mark Sanchez. So maybe if Sanchez falls, even if Sanchez is doing all right, maybe you could put some packages in for Tebow. I just don't. I never really bought into Tebow as a starting quarterback.
Well, let me run something by you. This is their schedule until the bye week. They got the Bills, the Steelers, the Dolphins, the 49ers, Texans, Colts, Patriots, and then the Dolphins again. That's their schedule up until the bye week in week 9. What week, if there is a change at starting quarterback, what week do you see it happening?
I think here's the thing. My gut tells me I wouldn't even be surprised if Sanchez does terribly right off the bat in the first game. And Rex Ryan's like, I get this Tebow. You never know that. You know what I mean?
If he doesn't, the fans will.
Exactly. That's the thing. Don't be surprised if he goes in right away. I don't necessarily see it happening, but just don't be surprised. I think they wanted him.
Yeah, all the Jets officials are saying they are pleasantly surprised with what Tebow is as a quarterback. So it might be more than a punt coverage guy.
If you go back to our podcast that we had in April, I said the Jacksonville Jaguars would try everything they could to get Tim Tebow. They tried to get him. I was surprised that the Jets went out and got Tebow like that. And I know they said Tebow had his choice to pick. But at the end of the day, the Broncos made the decision. The Broncos were to decide, all right, we'll deal with the Jets. So I think they want Tebow to be the guy, but I don't think he should be, at least right now.
I got a name for you. Broadway Joe. When's the last time the New York Jets had a quarterback with his stature and celebrity appeal since Broadway Joe? Think about it. Does it not make sense? You bring in Tebow, people love him.
Well,
fans
I
love him.
think
He's made for the Big Apple.
I think it's more of the kind of the idea of Tebow, but I don't think truthfully he's really going to be that quarterback. I want him to be. They envision him to be. I just, at least as of right now, I'm not buying that he is going to be.
And here's the deal. Broadway Joe, he at least had some skill.
He did. And
I'm not saying Tebow doesn't.
Yeah.
Not much.
I mean, think about it this way. Could Tebow be the most sturdy backup quarterback in the league, the one you rely on? Think about it. Who would you want to have at backup? Someone he's already proven himself. He's come back time and time again. I mean, what other backup in the league would you want?
Me personally, I feel like the sample size is not big enough. I know you had that stretch of games there. I want to see more. But, I mean,
what do you think the Steelers are saying right now?
Hey, don't get me wrong. He's better than
That's a
Tavares
sample
Jackson
size,
or
right?
Wilson.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. He put on one heck of a show in the playoffs.
Against one of the best defenses in the league.
Yeah,
Granted, without Ryan Clark.
I think it's almost guaranteed Sanchez will start the year.
He
We'll figure
will.
out going from there. All right, another one. The Cleveland Browns. They've had Colt McCoy, who has had no help around him. They just went out and drafted Brandon Whedon. Is it Whedon's job? McCoy apparently looks impressive, and a lot of Cleveland fans are ready to have his head already and want to go different route already. So I don't know. Do they stick with McCoy? Do they go with the rookie, or do they let him wait it out a bit, or will it be back and forth like the Browns have always been? What do you think, Angela?
Well, talking of the talent is Whedon has a cannon. They're talking about how he throws the ball. He's, his accuracy's very good. He can put zip on the ball, or he can, he got touch on the ball. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm hearing, Seneca Wallace is there too. Don't forget about that.
Yeah,
he starts
can't
the
forget
game
Wallace.
for him too. So I mean, you got a three-way battle there too, which Alex said earlier about Seattle. What I mean, Whedon's probably the best looking of the three, but you can compare him to Matt Flynn. The three of them, I mean, that's a bad ordeal right there. You don't have a stud quarterback that could actually emerge from that. So, what do you know?
And let's not forget, Brandon Whedon is older than Aaron Rodgers. Go ahead, Alex.
I would go behind Whedon. You draft him with one of your first-round picks. He's old. How many years are you really going to get off of him? Did you draft him just to sit for a couple years and learn? And he plays for like maybe 4 or 5 years. As far as right now, people saying Colt McCoy, even though there's not many, gives the Browns the best chance to win. I don't see any evidence of that. I really don't. And I think they will start McCoy, but I think you might as well since they're already a bottom feeder, you might as well just go with Whedon because you're not going to get that many years out of him. This is the way I look at it. So we'll see what happens.
See, it would have made more sense to me if they would have taken Justin Blackman with the first pick, their first round pick, and then Whedon with the second. That would have made more sense.
Kind of like what the Colts did with Luck and Fleener.
Yeah, like that would have made a lot more sense to me, and nobody would have said anything because they would have brought a package in, familiarity, and that's. But you go Richardson. What do you bring in a quarterback for? Get another playmaker on offense. Why would you draft a quarterback?
Same thing. All the Cleveland fans that I've talked to are saying that they don't like what McCoy's done because he doesn't throw it down the field. Well, he hasn't had any wide receiver who is able to go down the field besides no hands Josh Cribbs, and everybody knows that's the only route that he can run. So, they're saying that. I would have much rather see him use that second pick to try to get a second playmaker, someone on the outside. But, we could dissect all that. The way it looks right now, I think Whedon's going to take the job. I don't agree with it particularly. I've always been a Colt McCoy fan. But the thing is, the Browns do what they always do. They're going to start, and they're going to go back and forth in my mind, and it's going to hurt both of them, and nobody's going to do well in Cleveland as a result. Well, those are the three main controversies. We have a couple other quick ones we want to just say, is there a controversy or not? Let's start with my favorite, Washington. Robert Griffin III or Kirk Cousins? Controversy?
We touched on it last week. I don't see a controversy there. You got RG3, clear starter, and that's where it's going to go.
I would agree with that.
I mean, you don't trade 2 future first-round picks for backup stars.
Wishful thinking on my part, I know.
It's okay.
To me at least, there's no debate. Might as well get him there. I mean, I think Cam Newton kind of made people more confident in a style quarterback that RG3 is with, Newton's performance last year. Of course, different people, but we'll see what happens. You have 2 rookie quarterbacks. Might as well go with the one you invested more with. So.
Agreed.
It wouldn't surprise me if Griffin gets hurt, though, at some point in the year. But then again, I said that with Newton last year. So how about Oakland? We got a couple Trojans out there. Palmer and Liner. Is there any controversy there?
I'm Pryor all the way. I see Pryor sneaking in there with some play.
Don't you know? Don't even go there.
That's Carson Palmer's job. Liner has done nothing in his career to even remotely prove to me that he should get some playing time. So until unless Palmer gets hurt, it's Palmer's job.
And I agree. And I think it's really shocking and some kind of sad in a way for a quarterback who is so established at the college level, the mighty USC Trojans, and how you're a leader of that team and great player and quarterback. How can you if he can't translate that into good NFL quarterback success, who can? So it's a sad story. So I think Leinart, he should get out of football. Honestly, I mean the poor guy.
Well, speaking about getting out of football, how about somebody getting back in? Maybe Terrell Owens possibly going to the Oakland Raiders.
Rumors are surrounding that. Reuniting with Carson Palmer.
I would.
You think Palmer likes that?
Well, look what they did in Cincinnati. I mean,
that would be
had a good year.
That would be the biggest face palm moment for Palmer in his entire career. Retiring, then this happens. But here's the thing: I would love to see T.O. back in the league. Players like him, even though they're divas, make the game interesting. It makes you want to watch it. And as long as they're not doing anything criminal or bad, hey, I'm all for it. I want to see it. You know what I mean? So. I was happy when Moss came back in. I'll be not just as happy, but I'll still definitely be happy if T.O. comes back in the league. Make things interesting. And T.O., he could still be productive.
Absolutely.
I mean, the knee, it worries me, and with his age, but
he has strength. He had extra time
strong.
to heal. He didn't get picked up last year. He played a little arena ball, and obviously did well
there.
Good
enough.
But,
he wants to play.
He's hungry, and I think that's going to make a difference.
He would accept playing for the Jaguars or the Browns at this point. You know what I mean? And who else might be coming sneaking back into the league? Plexico Burress.
Yeah,
that's all you hear. And I think it's surprising he still hasn't gotten picked up. You know what I mean?
It'll happen at some point. All right, couple other quick ones. Is it Tannehill's job in Miami, or is it still Moore's job?
Well, I would go. I think it's Moore's job to lose. Just a quick couple stats. Last year, Moore started 12 games. He had 16 touchdowns, nine picks. He had 2 rushing touchdowns, 2,500 yards, and a 60.5 completion percentage. Average, yes. I mean, like I said, Tannehill knows the system. Mike Sherman, college
That's a very good point.
coach
That's a very good
at
point.
Texas A&M. He's coming into a system that he's familiar with. So I don't see Tannehill, missing a beat with the offense. I just see him, basically the learning curve at the speed of the game. That's going to slow him down. But other than that, I say Moore's job until he loses it.
Yeah, I would go the same route too. So I mean, let the rookie get like 1 or 2 years. It's not like we're Whedon where his time is limited. I give Tannehill some
I think
time
we'll see
off.
Tannehill before the end of the year.
Oh, that always
I
happens.
bet you he gets
so.
a good 6-7 games in at quarterback.
Especially if they aren't doing anything well. But who knows? Reggie Bush might take off again. Anything's possible.
Losing Marshall's
I would
gonna
love to
hurt
see that.
Yeah, it will. All right, last one we'll talk about. Arizona, Cobb or Skelton?
I think it's Cobb going in. I mean, you spent so much money on him. You got to give him this. I mean,
He's done nothing as a starter. Nothing.
But now he has a full off season. He really didn't have it last year.
Well, what was your? I guess you can say Mike Vick during his time in Philadelphia came in and took it away from him. I don't know. Cobb, to me, he just has not impressed me as a starter.
I don't know. I'm
This
gonna
is.
go Cobb.
I think this is a situation where there's really no clear cut, starter.
Which-
I mean, and it's just, it's kind of like, for lack of a better phrase, lesser of the two evils. Are either of them that great? Not really. So maybe Cobb gets it, going, especially now, with the weapons they have at receiver.
Yeah, you have Fitzgerald and Floyd out there, and you can't do anything with it.
Yeah, this would honestly really game by game situation. So, and that's what I think.
Yep. We'll figure out what's going to happen here, I guess. We're having a little bit of fun here at the Crane Room in Newcastle. Stop on by if you're in the area. I'm going to have to get some wings here at some point. I'm
Pasta
getting
night.
hungry. It is pasta night. I got to try that out too. I haven't had their pasta in a bowl. Great specials here. Baco's game is on, so we're going to have we're going to have the $2 23-ounce drafts going on here. Very, very good icy light. And, of course, if you come on out to the Crane Room, you can be entered into our raffle. The more you come out, the more you're able to enter, the better chance you have of winning. We'll be doing a draw at the end of the month for some pretty sweet prizes. So come on out if you're in the area. Otherwise, stay tuned listening in to us, 360sportsnetwork.com. We'll be back here in a few minutes at 3SN Live from the Crane Room.
Need a place to go to watch the game? Looking for a great game day atmosphere that hosts great food, great service, and the most variety of craft beer in town? Then come on down to the Crane Room Bar and Grill in Newcastle, where the beer is always cold and the best wings are right here. The specials every night, there's always a good deal waiting for you at the Crane Room. Come out on Mondays for $2 23-ounce domestic drafts from 7 to 9. Tuesdays, burger nights. Enjoy $5 burgers from 7 to 9 p.m. Of course, if pasta's your gig, Wednesday is your night. Pasta night goes bonanza. Thursday, it's pound for pound wings all night at $2 domestic drafts from 7 to 9. And mixed drinks are half off every Friday from 5 to 7 p.m. And Saturdays, from 7 to 9, it's $1 off draft beers. And for every Pirates game this year, enjoy a 23-ounce icy light for just $2. Whether it's to watch the game, at the bar, enjoy a night out at the outdoor patio, or sit down with your honey for dinner at the restaurant, the Crane Room has everything that you need. So come on down to the Crane Room Bar and Grill. Get your fix on wings, sports, and beer. Just off Route 18 in beautiful, sunny Newcastle, Pennsylvania.
The 360 Sports Network is not a blog. We are a network, a collaboration of websites, blogs, radio stations, restaurants, and more. We are a group created by the fans for the fans. Whatever the fans feel is newsworthy in the world of sports, we talk about it. We believe that everybody is a fan and everyone is an analyst. That's the whole 360 concept. We invite all fans to join in the 360 Sports Network by posting on the website directly, 360sportsnetwork.com, or by linking their posts to the collaborative network. You can be a part of the show tonight by tweeting us at 3S Network, or by tweeting Alex and James directly at 3SNDLab and at 3SN. Thank you for your interest in the 360 Sports Network. We'll be back to 3SN live from the Crane Room in a moment, but first, it's time for a 3SN Sports Break. The Indiana Pacers held on down the stretch and evened their series against the Miami Heat with a 78-75 victory yesterday. LeBron James missed 2 free throws with less than a minute left, but still led the Heat with 28 points. Dwayne Wade added 24, and no other Miami player had more than 5 points. David West led the Pacers with 16 points. The series now moves back to Indiana, tied 1-1. The San Antonio Spurs started their series well last night, defeating the Los Angeles Clippers 108-92 in Game 1. Tim Duncan scored 26 points for the Spurs, while Manu Ginobili added 22 points off the bench. Game 2 is scheduled for Thursday night. The 76ers and Celtics do battle tonight in Philadelphia, with the series tied 1-1. The Lakers look to steal a game on the road in Game 2 in their series against Kevin Durant and the Oklahoma City Thunder. Jeff Carter recorded a hat-trick for the LA Kings in a 4-0 victory over the Coyotes last night. The series now swings to Phoenix, with the Kings holding a 2-0 advantage. After great goalie play in Game 1 of the Rangers-Devils series, the Rangers' Henrik Lundqvist and the Devils' Martin Brodeur will do battle again tonight and see who cracks first in Game 2 in Madison Square Garden. The Rangers won 3-0 in Game 1 on Monday night. The Roger Clemens perjury trial moves forward as former trainer Brian McNamee has taken the stand against Clemens. McNamee, who has testified to injecting Clemens with performance-enhancing drugs multiple times, has been on the stand now for almost 10 hours, undoubtedly exhausting, but maybe a bit excessive as well. A second juror now has been dismissed from the case for falling asleep during testimony. That juror has been taken off the jury and now has been replaced with an alternate. They will be in court again today. Albert Pujols has struggled so far this year, batting only .212 and having only 1 home run. The rest of the Angels squad has not done much better, and the team is now taking action. They fired their hitting coach Mickey Hatcher today and promoted a AAA coach to replace him. The Angels are 16-21 and are 7 games out of first place in the AL West. And that's it for the 3SN Sports Break. Now back to 3SN live at the Crane. Pennsylvania. Come on out for the Bucco Special $2 23-ounce icy light draft special, and of course the best wings in town. Here with Jello, Angelo Fornatero, and D-Lab, Alex DeLaverson, and we have a very interesting and unique topic that we would like to discuss today, something that we don't do much about, professional wrestling. Now, I'm just going to start it off by saying this. If you were to look up professional wrestling, look up the definition, it is, quote, a staged mode of spectacle combining athletics and theatrical performance. So I know this is really deep to your heart, Alex, and this is the first question I'd like to ask you guys. Is professional wrestling a sport?
Inside the wrestling community, professional wrestling has often been described as theater sport, which is basically what you said. I don't think it's a sport. I think it's entertainment. And even though I may not have followed wrestling my whole life, I occasionally will watch it and turn it on. And for the sole reason, I would like to be entertained. You watch things on TV, you know, certain sitcoms, you know they're fake. They're trying to make it as realistic as possible. And yes, there was a time when wrestling was trying to dupe people into believing it's real. It has evolved now and is not the case anymore. And as someone who in my young years really followed wrestling religiously, it's not the same anymore. But I wouldn't say I have a problem with an adult watching it, as long as they're not on the fan blogs, doing all kind of unnecessary things about it. I think there's
Like saying that, oh, this is so real, I'm putting money on it,
If
not
you
realizing
do
the
that-
outcomes are
or
staged.
mimicking a wrestler, like mimicking John Cena and you're 48 years old. I mean,
Yeah, if
you
you-
need to.
I think Dawson said it best. If you're watching TV and you're trying to convince the other person that this wrestler, why he's going to win the techniques he used, you need to be put on medicine.
There's a difference between watching it for your entertainment and acting like one of those people.
And I agree, but to me the biggest thing was, the difference between reality and what is delusion, because there is an element inside the wrestling community that at this day and age, unfortunately, as sad as it sounds, still believes wrestling is real. And that's kind of sad.
Yeah, well, it's widely known now, it says it everywhere, that yes, they know it is not real wrestling, it is not real acts, but you know what, they still need to be pretty athletic to be able to do some of the moves that they do. And that's why the athletic part, and that's why a lot of people still say, well, it was in the sport. Even if everything is staged, I don't know, you can still consider it that way.
You look at some of the athletes that actually played, collegiate sports and are in the WWE. I mean, you have The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, played at Miami, played at the U. Look at him. I mean, he's
scrub.
He's an athlete. I mean, he played at a Division I college. Brock Lesnar, NCAA wrestling champion. He's been an MMA champion. I mean, Kurt Angle, gold medalist for our country in wrestling. I mean, these guys are athletes.
I think it's telling how many of these athletes will use wrestling as a stepping stone into other careers such as acting or MMA. And you do have to be physically fit, in shape, strong, agile. You have to be all those things to partake in professional wrestling. Would you say, Angelo, wrestlers like the Hardy Boys were actually hardcore and athletic? I would. The things they've done, jumping off of ladders, falling through tables, and yes, even though the chairs and table, even though that stage hitting, you're still getting bruises from it.
Yeah.
You're still hitting the floor. You're still
Backflips off of ladders and
Exactly.
stuff like that. You have to have some ability to land that and not to hurt yourself and the
Or
other
somebody else.
person. Yeah.
And what do you see on the commercials? Do not try this at home.
Do they say that during?
It's the first
matches.
Yeah, they do 2 or 3 plugs a night during the shows, pay-per-views. They say they show the actual slides of people actually hurt, and they say we're professionals. Don't do this at home because you can get seriously hurt. We have years of experience. And another thing,
Guess. Let me stop you right there. Though they say that same thing on the opening trailer of Jackass as well.
true, but just a sidebar. I think the best thing that wrestling has done right now, and it's for children, is that so many children watch wrestling that they're actually doing good with it right now. I mean, bullying is a huge thing in schools nowadays, and the WWE has a Be a Star program where they're going around talking and teaching children, it's not nice to do this, it's not good. So I think that's a great thing that they can do, and they can reach out to people because of their popularity.
How ironic how much it has evolved from. This was not a children's show back in the 90s when people such as me, you, were growing up. From the thing, they promoted so much sex and violence.
Vulgarity.
And they promoted every raunchy thing that you would not see in a PG product into that. They pushed the limit.
Look at the transformation. You went from Stone Cold Steve Austin, drinking beer and flicking people off and stuff like that. In his era, you have The Rock, who would make fun of people nonstop, to John Cena, who is about hustle, loyalty, respect, and basically and CM Punk, being straight edge, not doing any of that stuff. They're promoting, less swearing and more.
But then think about it though. As a result, though, I'm sure there are the hardcore fans who would want to see all that stuff.
Yeah,
Yes, you're gonna do more to the younger population by being able to accommodate that, and I'm all for that. But then that's probably why you don't hear much about. Honestly, I don't follow wrestling. I don't follow professional wrestling.
I
have
don't
no
follow
idea. I have no
wrestling.
idea who John Cena is. But from that, Exactly. I don't. I'm sorry, Jello. Look at that face. I know.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I don't know who that is. The thing is, though, you're gonna have that now competing with the new stuff. The mixed martial arts coming up. That's becoming the new thing. I think kids are gonna start seeing that and that street fighting
I would
more
like
than
to-
the wrestling. Go for it, Alex. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Unfortunately, live sporting like MMA, I feel like will never touch WWE. And I'm not saying this rightfully so in terms of ratings. It's just WWE is too big of a monster. And they went from literally live sex performances on a wrestling ring to look what we have now. To John Cena jumping around going, da-da-da-da-da.
But where's the money come from? See,
Well, it's
there's
all money. It is all
Where's
money.
the money
It's a
come?
business.
What age group does that money come from? You have the children nowadays. They're forming it for
They're
the
bringing
kids.
their parents.
They are, and
Then you buy the material possessions. It's all business.
that's the thing. And they're focusing on what the kids today are wanting.
And even when it was at its raunchiest,
That's a different generation.
a generation before that,
That's right.
it was not raunchy. It was just plain, boring, whatever. All these evolution and de-evolution, I just think it's, it's something you definitely want to look at. And first and foremost, over anything. And I don't follow wrestling either, Dotson, but I can even come to the reasonable conclusion that this is all business. It's all money, first and foremost. They don't care about the kids. They don't. It just.
It's all about money.
It's all about money and everything.
In my conclusion, yeah, are they athletes? Absolutely, in my eyes.
I think they're
Are they
athletes
good
as well.
actors? Yeah, you got to be. But is it a sport? I would say 60-40, 40 no.
I would
60
say
yes,
just as
because
it's defined by the wrestling community.
you don't see it
theater
on E
sport.
ESPN, right? They show everything. That's one of the few things you don't see on E ESPN.
That's why, But then again, and Dotson will agree with me on this. ESPN shows a lot of things that maybe should not have been shown too much.
But you don't see wrestling.
Exactly.
you
That's
see-
the point.
you
It's
see
not.
a
They don't
bunch of stuff,
consider.
but wrestling's
Society
one of
doesn't consider it a sport, and
You do see every once in a while. You see on ESPN's top 10 plays. You see a Guinness World Record for most people doing jumping jacks. Is that a sport? Do you see rugby on there? Do you see lacrosse more than a top 10 play? Do you see all forms of racing? I could go on and on about it.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
think it's best defined as theater sport.
I like that. I like that because it is.
That's a good consensus, I think, to wrap it up on. And I think that's a good way to put that, Alex.
It's theater sport. At least it's the way I look at it, and it's definitely. I would worry about mostly how kids view this topic nowadays. So
Hopefully, it's not too harming to them in that regard. I think
think it has
it's at least been well known for them enough that it isn't real. Don't try this at home. Will a bunch still do? Yes, I remember doing that back in the day too.
And selfishly, Angelo, I would say I would like to go back to the days before it became PG, but that would not be the good thing for children to see. And it's the
Kind of funny though, when everything else is getting more and more raunchy in the world, it's wrestling, pro wrestling, which was the worst of them all, that's starting to go in the opposite direction.
hashtag
Yeah,
irony,
get a little bit more
hashtag
vanilla,
business.
Hashtag business. We'll wrap it up with that. This is 3SN Live from the Crane. We'll be back here in a few minutes after just another quick break. Catch our breath, get away from the wrestling topic. We'll come back, talk a little bit about the playoffs that are going on here, NHL and NBA, and figure out what's happening with the Heat and LeBron James. This is 3SN Live.
Need a place to go to watch the game? Looking for a great game day atmosphere that hosts great food, great service, and the most variety of craft beer in town? Then come on down to the Crane Room Bar and Grill in Newcastle, where the beer is always cold and the best wings are right here. The specials every night, there's always a good deal waiting for you at the Crane Room. Come out on Mondays for $2 23-ounce domestic drafts from 7 to 9. Tuesdays, burger nights. Enjoy $5 burgers from 7 to 9 p.m. Of course, if pasta's your gig, Wednesday's your night as pasta night goes bonanza. Thursday, it's pound for pound wings all night at $2 domestic drafts from 7 to 9. And mixed drinks are half off every Friday from 5 to 7 p.m. And Saturdays, from 7 to 9, it's $1 off draft beers. And for every Pirates game this year, enjoy a 23-ounce Icy Light for just $2. Whether it's to watch the game, at the bar, enjoy a night out, at the outdoor patio or sit down with your honey for dinner at the restaurant, the Crane Room has everything that you need. So come on down to the Crane Room, Bar and Grill. Get your fix on wings, sports, and beer. Just off Route 18 in beautiful, sunny Newcastle, Pennsylvania.
The 360 Sports Network is not a blog. We are a network, a collaboration of websites, blogs, radio stations, restaurants, and more. We are a group created by the fans, for the fans. Whatever the fans feel is newsworthy in the world of sports, we talk about it. We believe that everybody is a fan and everyone is an analyst. That's the whole 360 concept. We invite all fans to join in the 360 Sports Network by posting on the website directly, 360sportsnetwork.com, or by linking their posts to the collaborative network. You can be a part of the show tonight by tweeting us at 3S Network, or by tweeting Alex and James directly at 3SNDLab and at 3SN. Thank you for your interest in the 360 Sports Network. Now back to 3SN live at the Crane Room. Alright, we are back here live from the Crane Room Bar and Grill in Newcastle, Pennsylvania. I want to talk real quick just about what the 360 Sports Network is. We are not a blog. We are a collaboration of blogs, of websites, of restaurants, of everything, of radio stations, and we're all in one group together as the 360 Sports Network. We all combine it together to be one big collaborative effort to bring you, the fans, what you want to hear. Not what, for instance, ESPN or Fox Sports or whatever wants you to hear. We want to talk everything sports, all sports, whatever you feel is important. So instead of seeing the NFL for 10 straight days leading up to the draft for 24/7, we can talk about everything in sports. Like we just said, ESPN does not show rugby. Yeah, ESPN does not show lacrosse. ESPN does not show all racing. We'd like to discuss it. If you feel it's important and you want to talk with us, we encourage you to either tweet us your ideas, you can send us articles that you've written, or if you want to join us as a startup, we encourage new writers all the time. So again, 360sportsnetwork.com, you can send us a tweet at any time at 3S Network. And with that, let us just continue with the conversations. We want to talk a little bit about some of the playoffs going on. Let's start with the NBA playoffs, the big news, the Miami Heat. You know how unstoppable and invincible they are, right? Wrong. They lost last night to the Indiana Pacers by a final score of 78-75. What do you think, Angelo? Is it game over for the Miami Heat? That's what everybody's saying, at least.
Well, I think a lot of people are going to realize how important Chris Bosh is to that team. Just a few stats here to keep it honest. Per 100 possessions, the Heat's point total goes down from 111 to 103 without Bosh, and their field goal percentage drops from 52% to 47.5%. Now, Bosh he's like an X factor to me because he can shoot the outside jumper, mid-range, but he's also a hustler and he rebounds and he gets extra possessions for LeBron and D Wade. So with Bosh out, they might squeak past this round, but if he can't come back for the conference finals against probably Boston, I don't see them going to the championship. So I don't know. Bosh is more significant to that team than anybody else I see.
Yeah, and he's the least known of the big three, the one that is most taken for granted, the one that sits in the side the most time, watching Wade and LeBron go at it. I don't know. It's a killer to me because LeBron had 28 points last night. Dwayne Wade had 24. Who was the next highest?
Somebody from the bench. Nothing higher than 5, I believe.
I think, yes. Battier and Mario Chalmers both had 5 points. That's the next highest score. That's ridiculous.
They've only made 1 3-pointer in 2 games.
The Pacers had, if I get this right, they had 6 people in double figures. They are much more balanced. They are a team. You don't see that in the NBA anymore. They are an actual legitimate team right now. And here's the other thing that's really getting on everybody. LeBron, he got his way to the line. His team down 1. He went and missed both free throws with less than a minute left to go in the game. And then afterwards, they were complaining about how tired LeBron is. What's going on with that, Alex? Why? How can you be saying how tired you are at this point into a game?
You know what? I think it's really telling of what Cleveland fans had to deal with during his tenure there more than anything. And I still think the Heat, squeeze it out and and win the series. But LeBron, I mean, he has to pick this thing up in clutch time. I mean, I have not remembered a superstar so criticized for the lack of clutch play than LeBron James ever, honestly. I mean, it's ridiculous, and I don't want to say it's tired necessarily. I mean, maybe, but if it is, come on now. I mean, you're kind of a pro athlete.
He's been in the league for 9 years. He knows how to do this. This is a shortened season. Now, this is what some people are saying, but the reason is he took Bosch's spot. He went and moved at power forward. You tell me power forward is that much more strenuous on you?
Because no one's ever moved to power forward before. Did that right?
Who's he guarding? Tyler Hansborough.
Yeah,
Think about
off
it.
the bench,
You're
yeah.
gonna tell me LeBron James can't outwork Tyler Hansborough?
I would hope so. And everybody's
He's not a speed demon up the court.
He's the best person in the game, let me tell you.
And right now, I would want to say something like, don't be surprised to see LeBron turn it on. I can't make that claim. He has not given me a reason to believe he's going to turn it on.
It was a shortened season also. You're telling me your legs are gone, but last season they weren't? Like, think about it.
And then they're saying because he changed his position, he's not comfortable there, and he's getting more worn out. Let me say something to you. 1980, a second-year player. He is a point guard. His center goes down, going into one of the biggest games of the year. He decides to suit up at center. Instead of, getting tired, falling down the stretch, you know what he did? 40 points, including an iconic jump hook. I am talking about Magic Johnson. And you want to be legendary. You want to be someone who is taken seriously.
Remember.
You got to be able to do something like what Magic did. Or even that, just, take the shot. You had 2 chances in that last possession to take the shot. Instead, it's Mario Chalmers who takes it. And that's the other thing, too. They've hit 1 3-pointer in their first 2 games. Heat are not going to be able to move
Where's
on.
Mike Miller, the 3-point specialist?
Did he even play?
I don't know.
I don't remember hearing his name.
Let's put it this way. LeBron didn't make a basket in the final 6 minutes and was 4 for 8 from the charity stripe. You make 2 of them free throws, that game's put away. You left the door open and Indiana capitalized.
Yeah. And Indiana had a huge lead to begin with going into that fourth quarter as well. They almost gave it away with Wade and LeBron literally having to carry that team on their backs. And everybody's saying Wade and LeBron need help. Why would they need help? They're the 2 best. They still need help. It's still a team sport. People keep forgetting about that. And because of that, you think that because you have LeBron James, you're going to automatically win. And I can't wait to see him knocked out. I am saying it. They're going to lose in 6 to the Pacers.
This is a prime example of why a team needs role players.
Mm-hmm.
You can't have 3. You got the big 3. That's fine. Look at Boston. They have their big 3 or whatever, but they play a certain role. Ray Allen, he's the shooter. Rondo, assists. Paul Pierce, he's the big shot guy. And then you got Garnett, down low, rebounding and scrapping. What do you think, Alex? I mean, they don't compare to Miami because they have their roles.
Like I said, I still think Miami's going to find a way to win this series, unlike you Dotson. But if they don't, then I won't be surprised either. I think what a shame it would be, though, if for the big celebration they had at South Beach, the decision, all this media attention, all the jokes about, how they're coming together, just all this hype for one team. And for them not to even maybe finish this series or win a championship, I wouldn't be surprised if they disband.
Do they make a move after this year if they don't win it? Like, do you see?
Do they have the cap room to do it?
Do they move one of the big guys? I mean, Wade or LeBron. Do you see them?
Not 1,
I
not
bet-
2, not 3.
They're not going to clean house.
In
but
2014, LeBron can opt out of his contract. Do you think he goes anywhere else if they don't win by then?
He'd go back to Cleveland if anywhere.
I see. I don't think they take him back.
Some will, some say he will.
I think they should because would make their team better. But I think Cleveland fans won't think like that. Maybe there's something more higher at stake than winning. I don't know. But I think if they don't win, they don't win a title here soon. They'll disband.
The big 3, I love that teams are beating a group of all-stars. I love that.
I hate the fact the big 3. the big three versus team. You know what I mean? Big three versus the Pacers. Like, come on, that's not what team.
The Boston
Boston
three party.
Yeah, the Boston Three Party, and it's.
I'm
you know,
glad because then you'd have 28 NBA teams who are just getting a big three. And that's what they would all go for because they see that's what you got to do.
What are the percentages both of you give the Heat for making it to the finals?
Making it to it or winning it?
Winning it, actually. You know, winning it.
I give them without Bosch. I'll give him a 35% chance.
Let's assume he comes back because I think if they beat the Pacers, most people expect him to come back.
If he comes back and can contribute, I say they gotta. I'd say like a 75% chance of winning the East. I'll give them that. But overall, I think they're one of three teams that can win the championship. I think it's coming out of the West this year, the NBA champion. More specifically, OKC. That's the team to beat. They just routed the Lakers. The Spurs.
I give them a 5% chance. 5% chance of being able to beat either San Antonio or Oklahoma City.
Yeah, those are the two.
Even if they make it there. I don't think they make it there.
That's why I said 30%. You got a 1 in 3 chance.
Look, I'll give it higher than a 5% chance because if anyone's gonna, don't think the Heat aren't capable of doing it because they do have LeBron James and Dwayne Wade. So I'll give them. This might not be a bigger increase, but I'll give them a 25% chance to win it. I'll give them a 50% chance to make the finals. So I think I agree with Angelo. I think the champion comes out of the West. I don't see a team like the Spurs or OKC going down. I just don't.
I think we're all in agreement on that. We're here at the Crane Room. We're talking some NBA playoffs.
Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. You can't.
Yeah, we're talking playoffs. That's the way it has to work. Let's talk with the rest real quick. San Antonio, Oklahoma City are both up 1-0. They both proved that rest is a lot better than rust. Do you see either of those teams not making the Western Finals, Jello?
I gotta go. San Antonio, when they're rested and healthy, they're a tough team to beat. But like I said, they're gonna play Oklahoma City, and that's gonna be. They're gonna go. Oklahoma City's so good. They may take them 6 games, maybe 7, but they're gonna run out of steam because of their age.
So both LA teams are out. Do you agree?
Yep.
The Lakers, as much as I like Kobe and everything, I could not believe. I shouldn't say could not believe. Just it was so unbearable to watch how they got dominated by the Thunder, and I can't. That team has given me no reason to believe that they're even gonna win a game the rest of the series.
See, and that's the thing. Both of these teams, the Spurs and the Thunder, they just moved that ball around like nothing. Whoever had the open shot, they took it, they hit it. They didn't force anything. They delivered. Period. That's why I would love to see either of those teams win it over anybody else.
It'll be a Western team. I'll be very shocked. And I'm no NBA analyst, and I'll be criticized for that, I know, but I think the general consensus is it's going to be a Western team.
And then the last series that's left, the 76ers have gotten a little fortunate already. They got to face the Bulls, the number 1 seed, losing Derrick Rose, and then losing Joakim Noah for a few games as well. So they fought through. Now they've turned the tides. They have the home court advantage now, heading back with a 1-1. Can they pull off another upset and beat the Boston the Boston Celtics?
No, Boston. I picked them last week, didn't I?
I believe you did, yeah.
I believe I said Boston and OKC in the championship. And even though I will go on the record and say, yes, me, Angelo Fornatero, is a Bulls fan, and I'm deeply saddened by this. Boston is going to go to the finals against OKC, and I don't see Philly. I say go the 6th the most. Boston wins this.
What do you think? The young team of the 76ers, Alex, or is it the old guys? I mean, Pierce does have an ACL problem right now. Allen was day-to-day. Can the old guys keep up?
Well, they can. I mean, this series doesn't do much for me in any way, shape, or form. I'm just not interested at all.
Tell it like it is.
That's my prediction. I don't care. Can I do that? Can I do
Sure.
that? Good.
Fair enough.
I don't care.
Fair enough.
I'm so uninterested by this series. It makes me sick.
I'm so uninterested by the NBA to begin with, but that's just me. I like San Antonio and I like the Thunder because when I see the recaps, they're an actual team. It's not focusing on LeBron getting a number one top play for making a layup.
And, I hate both cities, so this is a very lose-lose situation.
All right, let's make a quick move over to the NHL. Right now, the Kings are up 2-0 over Phoenix. Phoenix had 2 ejections for hits from behind. Shane Doan's didn't look too bad, but I thought Martin Hansel's in the third period was pretty bad, and he might be suspended for the rest of the playoffs, which probably will only be 2 more games. Do you think the Coyotes can come back at all, guys, or will the Kings just sweep through it?
I think the Kings have this series locked up. I mean, they took the first 2 games in Phoenix, and they've only lost 1 game in this entire postseason. They've won 7 straight games dating back to first round. I mean, LA's hot. They're healthy. They're ready to roll.
Their goalie is playing unbelievable. He's quick.
Like a cat, huh?
Quick as a cat. I like it. I like it.
And no argument from me there. It's all about what have you done for me lately. So
And that's exactly what the Kings
no
are.
reason to go against the Kings. So.
How about the Rangers Devils, though? They're going to be playing here. I'd say they're going to be dropping the puck here in a few minutes. Rangers won 3-0 in the first game. Lundqvist and Brodeur, 2 amazing goaltenders right now. Who gets the nod?
Geez. I'll probably say the Rangers will probably win. And this is another situation. I can't stand both teams.
Lesser of 2 evils.
They are the Devils, but so I think the Rags will win it. I mean, that's my opinion on it. So
Think about this. The last time the Rangers held a 2-0 lead was in 2009 against the Caps. They actually went up 3-1 against them, but lost that series. And personally, I think Brodeur comes up big tonight, evens this series up at 1.
I wouldn't surprise me in the least. I wouldn't be surprised if you see a 1-0 game going the rest of the way through. So we'll figure that out. We'll be right back. We're going to have one last final segment here. Then we're going to be wrapping up for the evening here from the Crane Room Bar and Grill in Newcastle. We'll be back.
Need a place to go to watch the game? Looking for a great game day atmosphere that hosts great food, great service, and the most variety of craft beer in town? Then come on down to the Crane Room Bar and Grill in Newcastle, where the beer is always cold and the best wings are right here. The specials every night, there's always a good deal waiting for you at the Crane Room. Come out on Mondays for $2 23-ounce domestic drafts from 7 to 9. Tuesdays, burger nights. It's by $5 burgers from 7 to 9 p.m. Of course, if pasta's your gig, Wednesday's your night. As pasta night goes bonanza. Thursday, it's pound-for-pound wings all night at $2 domestic drafts from 7 to 9. And mixed drinks are half off every Friday from 5 to 7 p.m. And Saturdays, from 7 to 9, it's $1 off draft beers. And for every Pirates game this year, enjoy a 23-ounce Icy Light for just $2. Whether it's to watch the game, at the bar, enjoy a night out at the outdoor patio, or sit down with your honey for dinner at the restaurant, the Crane Room has everything that you need. So come on down to the Crane Room Bar and Grill. Get your fix on wings, sports, and beer. Just off Route 18 in beautiful, sunny Newcastle, Pennsylvania.
The 360 Sports Network is not a blog. We are a network, a collaboration of websites, blogs, radio stations, restaurants, and more. We are a group created by the fans, for the fans. Whatever the fans feel is newsworthy in the world of sports, we talk about it. We believe that everybody is a fan and everyone is an analyst. That's the whole 360 concept. We invite all fans to join in the 360 Sports Network by posting on the website directly, 360sportsnetwork.com, or by linking their posts to the collaborative network. You can be a part of the show tonight by tweeting us at 3S Network, or by tweeting Alex and James directly at 3SNDLab and at 3SN. Thank you for your interest in the 360 Sports Network. We'll be back to 3SN live from the Crane Room in a moment, but first, it's time for a 3SN Sports Break. The Indiana Pacers held on down the stretch and evened their series against the Miami Heat with a 78-75 victory yesterday. LeBron James missed 2 free throws with less than a minute left, but still led the Heat with 28 points. Dwayne Wade added 24, and no other Miami player had more than 5 points. David West led the Pacers with 16 points. The series now moves back to Indiana, tied 1-1. The San Antonio Spurs started their series well last night, defeating the Los Angeles Clippers 108-92 in Game 1. Tim Duncan scored 26 points for the Spurs, while Manu Ginobili added 22 points off the bench. Game 2 is scheduled for Thursday night. The 76ers and Celtics do battle tonight in Philadelphia, with the series tied 1-1. The Lakers look to steal a game on the road in Game 2 in their series against Kevin Durant and the Oklahoma City Thunder. Jeff Carter recorded a hat-trick for the LA Kings in a 4-0 victory over the Coyotes last night. The series now swings to Phoenix, with the Kings holding a 2-0 advantage. After great goalie play in Game 1 of the Rangers-Devils series, the Rangers' Henrik Lundqvist and the Devils' Martin Brodeur will do battle again tonight and see who cracks first in Game 2 in Madison Square Garden. The Rangers won 3-0 in Game 1 on Monday night. The Roger Clemens perjury trial moves forward as former trainer Brian McNamee has taken the stand against Clemens. McNamee, who has testified to injecting Clemens with performance-enhancing drugs multiple times, has been on the stand now for almost 10 hours, undoubtedly exhausting, but maybe a bit excessive as well. A second juror now has been dismissed from the case for falling asleep during testimony. That juror has been taken off the jury and now has been replaced with an alternate. They will be in court again today. Albert Pujols has struggled so far this year, batting only .212 and having only 1 home run. The rest of the Angels squad has not done much better, and the team is now taking action. They fired their hitting coach Mickey Hatcher today and promoted a AAA coach to replace him. The Angels are 16-21 and are 7 games out of first place in the AL West. And that's it for the 3SN Sports Break. Now back to 3SN live at the Crane. Some technical difficulties, but we're all straightened up here. We're ready to go again. We're going to wrap up this evening. Going to extend it a little bit tonight. Talk a little bit about Major League Baseball. And we're going to start with Alex talking to us a little bit about what the Buccos are doing right now. Still trailing 1-0, I believe, at this point. And I thought maybe last night they were going to pull it off. They were going to hit 500 as they went into their next series here with the Nationals, but it wasn't meant to be. What do you see right now with the Bucs?
I see a team that if they had some hitting, could have a pretty decent record. They could be maybe, 19-14, reverse whatever the record is, something like that. And I think the hitting has nowhere to go but up. And I think, last few games have kind of showed that. I mean, at least they really haven't been losing 1-0. At least you're going to get some runs in. And I think I am very happy with the way this club has been pitching. And it's really ironic because the Pirates have not had good pitching for a while now. And it's also ironic that now the hitting is at the bottom of the league. You got your pitching, which is, I believe, at number 3, and you're batting at your absolute last. So if the Pirates can become more consistent with their hitting, and if things really haven't been working out for Correa, if they can just kind of fill the gaps a little bit, it can be kind of a similar situation where it was last year. And they can I don't think they're going to finish the season 500, but I think if they can fill those gaps,
so 19 straight, huh?
And how many times have we heard, they're building for next year? I think they kind of really are this time building for next year.
Yeah.
And Burnett's been sensational, and I'm really impressed by him. And this team, we'll see what happens, but it's kind of sad when you're a fan like myself and you get excited over the possibility of getting to 500. But they have the potential.
It's one step at a time. That's all you can ask for. I mean, what kills too, though, I got to bring fantasy into this because, that's what I do. They asked me today if there were any players on the Pirates who are worth picking up fantasy-wise. Of course, I said no. Beyond McCutchen, there really isn't. You got to keep your eye on Walker, of course. You know Pedro Alvarez is really on the downhill after.
And let me interrupt
Great.
real
Go for
quick.
it. Go.
When Pedro Alvarez, when he ups his play, the whole team ups their play too.
Yes.
And that's what I noticed. When he struggles, the rest of the team
The
struggles.
meat of that order is, it's, I mean, I'm not going to say it's murderer's row, but if Alvarez is hitting in that cleanup spot, you can move Walker down, switch him behind him. You got,
Or you have him up at 2 right now. I like that too.
And like, then I say if he protects McCutcheon, because they can't just pitch around him, because they have, if they walk McCutcheon,
Now you
you
gotta
got to
face
pitch to
Alvarez.
one, and you can't walk 2 guys in a row. So
Exactly.
like I said, he's the key to that lineup. If he can get a solid,
Same
If he
thing.
can back, maybe like 290, maybe be like 30 home runs. That's
He
good.
Yeah,
needs
I
to be
think
more than
he's-
a home run hitter.
Well, I mean, he had,
100 RBIs.
with the exception of last game, he had a couple good hits to the gaps, between outfielders, and he hasn't just been hitting homers when he does hit, but he's coming around, and a lot of people, were calling for him to go back to minor leagues or just get off the team at all. But I mean, at the time, it kind of seemed reasonable. But
Yeah.
I-
Same
I-
thing with that. They need
I-
Garrett Jones, who's currently batting either 5th or 6th normally every night. They need him to step up too to be able to protect whether it's Alvarez or Walker or whoever at that point too.
Absolutely.
There's lots that needs to be done. But even with that, you love James McDonald. I know you love James McDonald.
Poor James McDonald, poor AJ Burnett. James
8
McDonald
strikeouts.
can't. I was at the game when they lost. The last time they did lose
1-0.
1-0. It was literally painful to watch. I felt so sorry, and I never feel sorry for athletes because they make money. I actually felt sorry for the guy. He pitched 8 great innings and had
8
nothing to show
great
for it.
innings, 8 strikeouts, 1 earned run, and a loss. That looks great on your fantasy
And how
stats.
about this? Since the Pirates got swept by the Dodgers, and they had that losing streak when they lost 3 in a row. They've been 15-13. That's one way to look at it. The very beginning, when they kind of were at 2-5. Since then, they've been 15-13.
Win every series from here on
Can
out.
I ask you something? As an outfield man, where I played growing up, what do you think the best outfield for the Pirates is? Hitting overall hitting, fielding percentage, and everything like that. Where do you see? You have McCutcheon in center; he's not leaving. What do you think, Tabata and Presley? That's your best options out there, or do you see somebody swapping out and making it a better outfield?
You know what? I don't know, to be honest. I never, as much as, of course I pay attention to it, but I still feel like the defense has been good no matter what lineups they've been well. It's the outfielding has been pretty good, I thought. And Tabata, when he's in the outfield, sometimes it seems like, a spark could happen. You'll see Garrett Jones at first base. To me, what I'm trying to say, nothing really sticks out.
Yeah.
So I can't really say.
The only possible option, if you need to get more sticks in the lineup, which it feels like we do, you could try to get both McGee and Garrett Jones in the lineup at the same time by putting Jones in the outfield, putting McGee at first. I don't agree with that scenario because I think defense is more important, but at this point they're all professionals, they're all going to be good enough. I like Garrett Jones in the outfield, he's not bad. That might be something they need to go with, except for the fact that both Jones and McGee have downright been awful when it comes to hitting this year, so how much would that really help? Beats me. Let's move on though at this point. I want to talk a couple other interesting stories in Major League Baseball. Last night, Milwaukee Brewers versus the New York Mets. Mets are up 8-0. The Mets are down 8-0. And the first pitch after a home run hit against them to make it down 8-0, pitcher Ricky Weeks throws and hits MVP Ron, hits him right under the arm, right in the triceps, immediately is ejected, no warning or anything. Now here's the kicker. The Mets manager decides, starting the next inning, to pinch hit for his star player David Wright, who's going to lead off the inning, and able to protect him essentially from being hit in retaliation, obviously. So he says, you threw, or we accidentally, or whatever, intentionally threw at your guy. You're going to come back and throw at our star player. I'm not going to have that. I'm taking you out. Of course, Wright was insanely mad, and a big argument ensued. Let me ask you, Angelo, from your experience, both as a player and as a partial coach in your days, do you agree with the manager's decision to pull your star player at this point, down 8-0, late in the game, so he doesn't get hit?
100%. You got to protect your money. That's what I say. Protect what you got, you invested, and I could see if you needed that tying home run, you can't take him out.
Right. But at that point, they're probably not going to be throwing at you either.
Well, they never know depending on how the hitters behind him have been hitting. But like I said, if you're gonna, that's like, put it this way. Let's go back to the 90s, my old Seattle Mariners. Ken Griffey Jr., right? You're down 8-0, something like this happens. You want Griffey getting plunked in the head and in the elbow, never, God forbid something happens, maybe in the leg. No, you don't want your star player. Look what Griffey can do for for your team. So guess what? I'm yanking him. Put one of those, these utility players in, let them get a couple swings, maybe take one for the team, as they say, and I completely agree with what he did.
Does David Wright have the right to be mad? Does Wright have the right to be mad that he's getting pulled out of the lineup at this point in a game? Who cares what the score is?
You're down 8-0. I mean, you're pulling him because he doesn't want to get hurt. I'm not pulling him because
What's he gonna do? Hit 2 grand slams?
Really.
Wright wanted to be there. He wanted to be the one
good.
that got
You want
hit.
your players to want to be in the game, but you gotta remember
He wants to be the one to be hit.
it's early
It's
in the
not like
season.
they're pulling him because he was underperforming necessarily or anything like that. He didn't want to get hurt. Oh my God, how horrible!
Well, I agree. You're looking out for the guy. I also
Man.
commend Wright though. He wants to stay in there. He said, that's the way. This is the way it works. It's the unwritten rule. We hit them. They're gonna hit me. I just want them to hit me and get it over with. I can't blame him for that.
But he don't know where that pitch is gonna go. It could hit him in the head, knock him out.
Well,
You never know.
Yeah,
You imagine
he'll
shot-
feel differently
Can
after
you
he
imagine
gets
getting that helmet shattered and something hitting his eye?
yeah, he'll feel
He's out
real
for the season. He's done. You can't risk that.
and he's already had injury trouble.
And the probability of that happening is higher because of the situation. It's not just like he was out there with no one
He knows it's
targeting him. It's just big deal out of nothing, as always. I just feel that's the way I look at it. I mean,
It's a big deal out of nothing, but that's the news that goes around. And of course, there was a big scene in the dugout. There was also a big scene down in Washington in the clubhouse afterwards. This is gonna how we'll wrap it up tonight, because this is just a little comic relief to end our evening here at the Crane Room, the 360 Sports Network. Steven Strasburg didn't have his best night. It was a rain delay. He wanted to try to stay warm, so he put some hot stuff, icy hot probably, on his shoulder just to try to stay loose. In the post-game conference after Strasburg did not do well, his manager was quoted as saying that he got some of that hot stuff on his place. He got hot stuff on his place. Alex, how's that feel? It feels pretty bad, I'll say that. No, I mean,
staying there
What do you
hurts so
mean? What do you
good,
mean?
right?
It would feel good to have some hot stuff on your place, wouldn't it? so
it would probably be very
well, don't say bad. I mean, come on, think
Can
about
we
it.
edit this out?
No, we will not edit this out. This is live, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, hot stuff
yeah,
on
with
his
us,
place.
that
You know,
has to hurt.
it's who knows what's.
I don't wanna find
the way
out.
the way that the manager put it, can you imagine? It had to have been uncomfortable. So at this point, even if you could have tried to say that it could have been talking about something else, we all knew exactly what it was that he was talking about there. Game, set, and match. I know. So. Just very interesting. Then they interviewed Strasburg and said, "So we hear you got some icy hot somewhere," and he's like, "Yeah, that's something I want to keep in the clubhouse." Your manager already came out and said it. How does that work for the PR stuff between players and managers? That when your manager is saying that you touched yourself, I guess.
It is a nightmare. That is what it is.
Maybe he had an itch. You never know, and he just forgot it was on his hands. You never know. But what we can
Unfortunately,
say here
people
is,
like us make it a bigger deal than it is. So it's funny. It's all.
It's all good.
I don't think anyone's upset. It's funny.
like I said, for those of you who play sports, especially baseball, the clubhouse is where joke around with the guys and you have fun. It's part of sports. Busting each other's chops. And that's what makes the game fun. Camaraderie that way. And you know what? I don't see anything wrong with this. Poking some jabs. Making some jokes, because you know what? In the end, it's all for laughs, and we're human. We have to have humor.
That we do, and we lost that. With that, we will end up the evening. Wanted to a couple other things. 360 Sports Network began back in the day with a little cooperative effort called 360 Community Sports, where we talked about a lot of local sports stuff. And we kind of want to bring that back as part of the 360 Sports Network. We want to talk about some of the local sports here in the Western PA area. Western PA, Eastern Ohio, Pittsburgh, Youngstown, even up to Cleveland area if we want. So if you are interested in that, if you have any ideas, questions, comments, concerns, we encourage you to check out our website, 360sportsnetwork.com. Shoot us an email there. You can get all of our contact information. Follow us on Twitter. Send us some tweets at 3S Network. Follow us on Facebook. Talk to us on there, 360 Sports Network. We want to bring back 360 Community Sports. We want to talk anything and everything around here. There's some great softball leagues around here, especially baseball and softball playoffs are going on that we could be talking about. If you're interested, let us know. We'll make it happen. And you can join in on the 360 Sports Network because that's the whole concept. Well, gentlemen, it's been real. It's been insane.
It's been funny.
Well, hey, that's what makes it fun. We come out here, we have a good time, and we're here for the fans. So thank you again, Angelo, for becoming, it appears to be a regular now with the 360 Sports Network. We just now get you the 3SN Jello tag here, and we'll all be good to go.
My pleasure. Thank you, guys.
Oh, it's our pleasure.
Also, make sure to check out the new hottest web series on YouTube, D-Lab's Daily Beat. It will blow your mind away. Giggity.
It'll blow your mind away. It'll blow something away, I guess, at this point. I don't know what to think. When you told me what you were doing today, let's just say, yeah, it was going to be
How about we
insane.
just get our minds out of the gutters and, go share a drink? How's that?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Under the Crane Room Bar and Grill, bottom line. Get
Social
it.
to all you fans out there.
Crane Room Bar and Grill, Newcastle, Pennsylvania. We'll be hanging out here for the evening again. We'll be here again next week as well. Come on out. Get a chance at some fantabulous, awesome prizes from Vanna White. No, I wish. Anyway, that's the end of the evening.